So today we're going to be focused on an outbound cadence, specifically reaching out cold to net new prospects for net new business. A lot of other use cases for cadences, whether you're reaching out to current customers, or for me, a big one for me as an account executive is a close loss nurture cadence. If it wasn't the right time or they just didn't have budget, I like to stay in front of someone over the next few quarters. So they're thinking about Salesloft and me by the time they're ready to make a purchase. But yes, so today, specifically outbound net new business. This could be different for different organizations, different industries and whatnot. But we like to use an omni-channel approach, right? Today in modern times, not just phone is going to work, not just email, not just social, but a combination of all of the above, and adding video in there is just another level up. But I like to start with a phone call. If I can get somebody right off the bat to answer the phone, awesome. I do like to have local dial on. This is a feature that's going to match the person's area code. It is for US only when you're calling into area codes in the US, but someone might say, hey, it's my kid's school, it's my doctor, I got to pick it up. So a great way to get someone on the line. I don't like to leave a voicemail to start, but then a nice email is going to come up here. And I think this email is very, very important. Chris, any questions, Chris, that you'd say here? Anything that you like to do in your first email?
Yeah, so well, I mean, at Vidyard, we're selling a video tool. So I use video in my first touch, but I appreciate that that's not for everyone. And some people might prefer it as a later touch, and that's going to be the case here. I like video as a first touch because I have to be advocating the product that I'm selling. I'm in a slightly nuanced situation there, though. The question I had really, I want to talk about you not leaving a voicemail on call number one, because I do leave a voicemail. But what's the thinking there? And because I'm guessing that's come from a lot of good data. So I'm just curious, why no voicemail?
For me, it's because I'm doing the local dial. I don't want to leave a voicemail when it's not going to be my actual phone number. But I mean, you can leave a voicemail. I think a voicemail is never going to get you or earn you a conversation, but it is another great way for someone to hear your name or hear your company name. Yeah. So I don't mind a voicemail there. I think what you'll see as we're talking about this cadence is just pleasant persistence and consistency that's going to help earn an opportunity. And then obviously you have to personalize to stand out. And I think that's why everyone may be here today, or if you can get one thing from today, I would say personalization is key, along with pleasant persistence.
Nice. And then another point on here, personalization. We've got personalized 20% of the email. Now, personalization is, I mean, I feel like it's been the talk of the town for a while. And it's great. We've got a couple of examples here. So looking at LinkedIn, personalizing obviously to the individual, maybe to the company, maybe if you've got some history the last time you talked to the team. Sometimes people view personalization as you know what soccer team they support, or what school they went to, and you go really deep on it. And some people don't like that because it can feel a little bit weird, a little bit stalkery. But what's your take?
Yeah, I personally like it. I know I'm not going to respond to someone that just sends me a templated email. What stands out to me is when someone's done a little bit of research. And so a couple of stats I'd love to throw out to you if you want to hear them. Like, depending on how many people you're starting to reach out and target, I recommend anywhere from 10 to 20 net new people a day. That being said, I like to set an hour-long call block specifically for these day one emails and spend no more than 3 minutes of doing this email, right? So you have your template in there of the body of the messaging of the email what you want to say, but the personalization piece is standing out to that individual or that company, right? And so a couple of ways to do it, like you just said, right? If I saw that you were a Ryan Reynolds fan, or if you're a big Wrexham fan, I'm going to say something about Wrexham in that first line there. If anybody's a huge Netflix fan, little shout out to Ryan Reynolds there. But if I saw that someone went to the school that I went to, or a school that I really enjoy, if someone is in Austin, Texas, a place that I know that I can relate to, I'll say that. So I would spend no more than 3 minutes on looking this up. If you can't find something on them or the company, send something and move on in the cadence with them. but I would try and say something about the individual first, and if you can't, look up the company and see if you can see anything relevant about the company.
Yeah, it's nice. I like this last point, saying like, I noticed that you have this type of seller who typically struggle with this. So if you can't get personalized on them, the individual, you can probably get personalized on the challenge they face and how you can solve that problem. We're going to talk about adding LinkedIn as a channel here. What's your take? Note or no note?
I personally, I mean, you can go one way or the other. I personally like to add a quick note. I mean, these people are getting added probably constantly on a daily basis. So how are you going to stand out? That would be the one question I'd honestly ask yourself. Again, I like to do local down on. If you're calling to the US, anywhere else, just consistently keep calling. Keep just trickling down that cadence. That's that pleasant persistence piece. And then we're going to add personalization with video here in a step coming up. But it's personalized and being pleasantly persistent. So give them a phone call. If you can get them, great. If you can't, we're going to move on to an in thread, which is going to bubble up that email that we took 3 minutes to personalize. And so that's just going to give us another opportunity for them to look at what we took the time to do the research on them or their company. I don't mind if you automate this email here, just with something short and sweet. Hey, just want to make sure you saw this. Any thoughts, right? And then that email can be automated. I'm fine with that.
We're adding video in, Cadence step 6, email 3. What's this video?
Gotta say, I love video. So, well, I mean, when I was an SDR and still as an AE, when I'm generating my own net new business, I get about a third of my net new conversations from sending a video. Unlike your video in the very first step, I have to send it in a few emails down the road like this here. This is the third email outreach. Reason being is if I send a video in the first one, a lot of people respond and ask, and they think that's what we do, video. So I have to wait a little bit. But this is just a way to break through the noise. People are inundated with phone calls, emails all day long. When you throw a video into the email and say, hey, video for John, or you put their first name, they're gonna look at the email and then they see their name on a whiteboard. I mean, it's just a great way to break through the noise and be different than everybody else. Let's preface this. If you've never used Vidyard before, a video, I was very scared to do it the first few times, the first 10 to 20 times. And so I have seen others on my team get the video step bogged down a little bit, and they're a little nervous to make these videos. Highly recommend it being personalized, but if you do get bogged down, you can create maybe a template with just the ICP. So you're just focused on specific personas, right? So I don't mind having a template, but the personalized ones are the one that's going to earn you a conversation.
And you promised you would call them the next day after the video, Jordan, and you are. But this time you're leaving a voicemail.
Yeah, and actually, I have a pre-recorded voicemail. For the day after a video, I told him I was going to call him on the video. I have a pre-recorded voicemail that says, hey, I know I'm not an actor. Just curious if you got a chance to see the video that I made you. Again, short and sweet. And with the pre-recorded voicemail, I don't have to sit there and record so many voicemails. I can just do it with a click and just hang up.
We're now on LinkedIn. We'll switch channels. We're over on LinkedIn. So we're talking about, what have we got here? Commenting in mail and video via InMail. So talk us through this.
Yes. So, right. We're not getting a hold of somebody so far, and we've sent them 3 emails, 3 calls. How else can we stand out, right? LinkedIn is another opportunity for us to get in front of somebody. And again, I don't know the stat on this. I would guess it's 99% of messaging going through LinkedIn is just text. When you add a video, when you're trying to engage with somebody via LinkedIn, they're not seeing that. That will get watched. Just, again, like you said, Chris, short and sweet, and have something that is beneficial to them. Maybe a stat, something that they may like, but this is how you're going to earn that conversation going outbound. when you're making these phone calls down the stretch of a cadence, get ready for someone to answer. You know, don't just make the phone call and not ready and get caught off guard when someone picks up the phone. I like to honestly set an hour call block where I'm just making calls for an hour. I put a fake mask on where I'm not Jordan anymore. I'm a cold caller. But get in the zone and make those calls and really be ready for someone to answer every time. When you start to get to steps 9 and steps 11 or these later phone calls, and you say your name and your company that you work with, you don't be surprised when you're saying, oh yeah, I've seen your name around. Like that's the point of the cadence and the pleasant persistence, right? And us standing out with personalization. That's the point of this. I love the end thread here too, right? We took the time to make that video. I love the end thread of that, bringing that right back up. Maybe they were out of office having a great vacation with their family, so they missed the video that you took the time to send. Here's another way we're just going to bubble that up for them. Yep, this is going to be a new thread, and we're getting towards the back end of the cadence, right? This is where I like to start to think about, and actually how we do it internally. I'm going to spill the beans here. Once we get towards the back end of the cadence, right, all what we did before is personalizing to that individual or the company. Now that they haven't responded to anything like that, it's still valuable to reach out to them. But now maybe our personalization is a little more templated, specifically to the ICP or their persona, right? So at Salesloft, we have 3 personas. I have templates for each of those specific personas. Do not be alarmed. They've seen your name, they've seen your number now a few times. They may pick it up just to see who's being pleasantly persistent, but they may pick up. So just be ready, all right? For me, you know, I'm kind of a jokester. You know, I say, hey, this is Jordan from Salesloft. What I catch you in the middle of? It throws them off, but if I get a laugh with that, I know that I can have a great conversation. Sometimes I call it something like this, almost like a breakup email, right? Like, I don't know if it's the right time. We're reaching out to so many different industries and so many different buyers. Some people you have to get them at the right time. So all I was trying to do with this cadence was to start a conversation. But this, offering something up like this, like, hey, this may not be the right time. Like, you know, I'm just going to leave you with this. I like to put them into a nurture cadence after this. So I kind of call that out in this email. Like, hey, I got some best practices I'd love to share with you over the next 2 quarters. I hope you don't mind. Kind of calling out what I'm about to do. And then I figure out, you know, do I want to add them to that nurture cadence and spend more time, or maybe add someone else in at the company? During this cadence, we're showing you certain things of people that are engaging with emails. Are they opening, clicking, replying to emails? We're looking at the account as a whole too, or any other people at the organization active. You'll know what you want to do with them afterwards. Personally, for me, I like to add someone else in at the company because there's multiple contacts I'd love to get a hold of. But then I'll take this prospect here and say, do I want to put them into a nurture cadence? Or do I want to put them into maybe like a holding tank to where I can reach back out to them in maybe 6 months and put them back at the top of the cadence? You'll start to know after you've done this for maybe like 3 or 4 months, you'll know exactly what you want to do with these prospects when they get to this point in the cadence. I have a template that I send before I have a call, and I've done this for the last 5 years since I was an SDR. I would send a template of just the Zoom link, my phone number in case they couldn't log in, and then I would record a video and insert it into the email that I send. I have had so many times when someone got on the call and said they were not going to get on the call because they had meetings all day, but because they saw the video, they got on the call. And I actually, before this call, I looked at that template and I've sent it over 700 times and it's got like a 22% reply rate.
Yeah.
Not to toot my own horn, but I am saying like this is a very, very, very valuable thing that I'd recommend for anybody that wants to have to lower their no-show rate.